The Helm Komodo is one of the best affordable watches I've ever run into, and for me it's one of the more memorable ones. You see, shortly after it was released, I was lucky enough to get one, and at the time it blew me away. Now bear in mind, this was back in 2019, back in the early days of micro brands, and way back before the Ollie brands got their act together. And for the price of a Seiko 5, you got a true ISO rated diver better than any Seiko near that price. It had the same Seiko movement, but much better fit and finish, a nice double dome sapphire, better lume, ceramic bezel, milled clasp, all that kind of stuff. Now today, that is a little bit more expected, but back then it wasn't. And Helm as a brand was one of the first ones out there really kicking out a true spec monster. I also really love the glacier white version with the powder blue indices. Still very much a tool watch, but just enough color here to make things interesting. And it's also one of the very few watches that I've ever regretted selling. Now again, this was back in the early days of the channel. And my goal with the channel and my watch collecting is that this has always been a self-funding hobby. So I'd usually sell something after I reviewed it just to fund the next watch to review. And reluctantly, that's what I did with my Helm Komodo. Now over the years, I've thought about buying another, but with Helm, the wait lists are ridiculously long, and I always wind up talking myself out of it as I have plenty of other divers. That is until a few months ago when Helm released a titanium version of the Komodo. And at that point, I knew it was time to get another one. As I'm a sucker for titanium, and it's a good enough excuse to do another video. So here we are. Now as you can see, for the most part it's the same Komodo as before. Just a little bit lighter and a little bit more expensive. I think it's about 50 bucks more than the standard Komodo. But when you get down to it, that means all the good and the little bit of bad that went with the original Komodo is all still here. So that's what we're going to focus on, the good and the bad. And one of the best things about it is that it's still an ISO certified 300 meter diver. And that's one of the cool things about Helm in general. They're the only micro brand I can think of that puts almost all of their watches through testing to get an ISO rating. So if you find yourself in the water a lot, that's a nice thing to have. The key size here is also one of the Komodo's biggest strengths, especially compared to the rest of Helm's lineup, or what it was at the time. Back then, they only had two other watches, the Wearability and the Vanatu, which are also great and also a lot harder to pronounce. I'm sure I screwed that up. Yet they're also a bit larger at 43 millimeters. And the Komodo, for me, with my 7¼ inch wrist, it hits perfectly that sweet spot with a 40 millimeter width and a 47 millimeter lug-to-lug. The fit and the finish here for the price is also still great. Now this is titanium, so its sheen is going to be a little bit different. And overall, the case does have a fairly simple design, but it has a great smooth brushing all over. And the tight fit of the end links puts anything Seiko has near this price range to shame. I said shame, not Shane. Now along the same lines, the bracelet here, and to be fair, is a little bit rattly. But it has the same good brushing, female end links, a milled clasp, and the links are secured with screws. For a tool watch at this price range, it's a pretty good bracelet. And you can say the same for the case back. If you hate exhibition case backs on a diver, Helm feels your pain. They recognize your tortured soul. And ultimately, they agree with you. So here they have something simple, but still kind of cool with a closed case back. Now, interestingly, one of the few differences here between the original and the titanium version is in the dial and the handsets. And for me, it's interesting because for Helm, it would have been so simple just to use the same dial and hands and throw them in the new case. Easy peasy, call it a day. But Helm decided to make the titanium version a little bit more distinct. And the easiest way to do this is just to throw up side-by-sides of the different colorways to show you what I mean. So for the black version, they basically took the black dial and the black bezel and then electrified it by adding the electric powder blue indices to the dial and blue accents to the bezel. And these were what was originally on the white version that I had. So this one is definitely a little bit more vibrant. And strangely enough, they then did the opposite with the white dial version. They took away the vibrant powder blue everywhere and made everything a little bit more white, made it a little more normal. Now the indices still have a hint of blue, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And thanks to a ton of BGW9 lume, which we'll get to in a second, but thanks to that, there's always a little bit of a blue glow to everything as well. So the blue is still there, it's just nowhere near where it was. Then take all of that and add this vibrant orange second hand to this crisp white dial, and you get something that's given off some white Polar Explorer vibes, or maybe a little bit of a white Omega Plow Prof. And then for the third colorway, they went in a completely different direction. Still more of a vibrant, colorful choice, but they wound up swapping out an orange dial for a yellow one, so not that much more vibrant. Let's get back to my white dial version. And as I was saying, this is a little bit more normal. Personally, I think I like the original better, but I gotta admit, I think this one is more versatile. In a lot of ways, it's more crisp and clean, and also easier to read, as they changed a lot of the accents that were a faded gray to black, and those just pop out. And then with the orange second hand, there's just a lot more contrast here, while the indices still have a good height to them, giving the design some interesting depth. Now, as for the Lume is still good here. For some reason, I always love this empty circle outline for the date all loomed up, and I'm glad they kept that. Now, part of me wishes I had the original so I could directly compare them, but at very least I can tell you that it'll easily outlast a standard Seiko. So, good Lume overall. And the price is also pretty good. This one is $350 US, which, important to note here, doesn't include shipping or duty fees, so your end price will be more. But for $355, that's a pretty good price for a fully spec'd out titanium diver. And if you look at it, it's only about $50 or $55 more than the regular version, which for an upgrade isn't bad. And as a side note, I went back to my original Helm review just to see what these were originally going for. And I was surprised to see them listed at $285. Meaning that in the last 7 years, Helm has only increased this by $10, which again is not bad considering what everyone else is doing. Now that's what's good, but let's talk about the negatives it also inherited, as well as the confusing bits and my little nitpicks. First off, for a diver, it's a busy dial. Proportionally speaking, there's a really big bezel for this case, and the dial itself is a little small. Now, it's not any smaller than a Seiko, but compared to some other divers, proportionally, it is a little bit smaller. And there's a lot going on in this small space. So if you like more complicated, interesting designs, you'll like this one. But if you like things simpler, cleaner, then I think this one's probably going to give you a headache. The next negative here should be obvious. Just like its sibling, it's pretty thick. And that's thick even for a Seiko NH-based watch. I think it's about 15.5 millimeters. And that is going from the top of a very nice double dome sapphire to the back of that case back. And to make matters worse, the simple case design here makes it even more obvious that this is a thick, chunky watch, with this tall, sheer sidewall on the left side of it. On the original version, this also led the watch to be a bit top-heavy, and you almost always needed to wear it on a bracelet just to balance that out. But thanks to the titanium, this one's nowhere near as bad as the original. And I think this does sit about 140 grams, give or take a link or two. However, talking titanium, that also leads us into another potential issue. Because one of the downsides of a titanium case is that you notice scratches more than you would with a steel case. So with titanium, that's always been the trade-off for the lighter weight. Now these days, a lot of the titanium watches that are coming out have added a scratch-resistant coating to them, just to counter all those scratches. But this one's being a little bit more old school and doesn't have that. And to be fair, at that price, I can't really blame them for that. But it's still worth noting and still worth thinking about, and you just have to decide what's more important, a lighter weight or your OCD when it comes to scratches. And along the same lines of not having more recent innovations, we should really talk about the clasp here. First off, there's nothing wrong with the clasp. It's maybe a little bit long and you may need to move links around just to get the proper fit on your wrist. But again, these days, a lot of affordable watches are changing over to an on-the-fly adjustable clasp, as well as quick-release end links. And that's something this shares with the entire Helm lineup, making it, as well as every other Helm, a little less competitive than it used to be. Now for the price, I can't complain too much, but I'd love it if they developed an on-the-fly clasp and added it to their lineup, even if it was something that was a little bit extra, just to have as an option. And speaking of extras, let's talk about the bezel, because that's also something that's changed. First, I should point out that the action here is fantastic. It's a very satisfying 120 unidirectional click. So that's not the problem. And Honestly, this really isn't a problem, it's just something to note, which is that the insert is different than what comes on the steel version, or what came on my original steel version. My original one had a nice black ceramic, but for all of the titanium versions, they've opted for this steel insert with a titanium colored PVD coating. And ultimately, I just don't think it looks near as cool with the white dial as the original one I had, as this one has more of a steelier gray undertones that just blend in with the case. Whereas my original one with the black ceramic added a nice contrasting border that separated out the dial from the case, and overall just helped the dial pop more. So going back to a black ceramic bezel would be something I would definitely change. And to be fair, that is actually an option, I just didn't notice it as I was in a rush when I ordered this one. I just assumed it was coming with what I had before. But Helm does have a variety of bezels for all of their different watches that you can order for an additional cost, of course. And if you didn't feel like swapping it out, if you ordered one at the same time as you ordered the watch, they swap it out for you. So kind of disappointing that you gotta pay more to get it, but again, it is an option. The bottom line for this one is that Helm continues their tradition of making some of the best affordable divers out there. And this is exactly what you'd expect for a titanium version of the Komodo. Even after all of these years, the original still has quite a wait list. And this has all of the good of that one, but now a little bit lighter with some minor dial changes. So I'd say you should get on that wait list now, because it's probably just gonna get longer. As always, let me know what you think about this one down below, as well as if you can think of a better affordable diver I should look at, let me know that as well. I'm Shane, this is Relative Time, and I'll see you next time.